Well, just appreciate the chance to be here today. A lot has happened in our league since I was last sitting here, so it's pretty interesting to see all the matches, all the upsets, all the parity. It's pretty significant this year, so it's pretty cool to witness. And you know, we've had 5 in a row on the road. Now we have 5 in a row at home of our last 6. With the last one finishing up at Missouri the night before Thanksgiving. So obviously our fans, our crowd, our students are huge for us. Your coverage is super important for us going forward. And you know, a week ago we did not control our own destiny. Now we do. So you know, getting close to healthy is cool also. And in that stretch, you know, Asia Thigpen has been back and doing a great job. Aaron Lamb is close to being able to play. So. Anyway, a lot has happened in a couple weeks.
Is there one reason in particular you've been so successful on the road?
A good question. I mean, you know, getting closer to healthy helps. I think that our offense has become a little bit more balanced. We've been able to score in several different positions. Some of our freshmen have gotten some experience. You know, they're playing. And you know, our upperclassmen are doing a really good job of not getting too high, not getting too low. So, you know, it's hard to pinpoint one particular thing, I guess. You know, but
That'd be good though, right?
Yeah, several things matter. Yes, I mean it certainly does. But you know, to your point in a way, I mean it's, you know, last weekend for example, we beat Tennessee a while back. We beat South Carolina Friday. South Carolina turns around, beats Tennessee. Mississippi State beats Texas A&M, who beat Texas, you know, a couple weeks ago. You really, it's really hard to prepare for teams right now because their high is super high, and then they can give up points. So it's, you know, I guess staying consistent has been probably the most important thing.
You mentioned Asia. Just talk about the impact she's had lately, especially being able to be that other hitter outside of Brooklyn.
Yeah, I mean, Asia brings a level of intensity, competitiveness, juice, so to speak, on the floor that, you know, I think people feed off of, and you know, she obviously hits the ball extremely hard, you know, to score points, and she can play the whole game. Her IQ of the game is super high. So, you know, having someone like her along with Emma Grome and Brooklyn DeLay and Tuzzo and Bevan, and I mean, all those guys play the game at a really high level. So having the combination of those people is important, and Asia brings some fire that adds to us.
I know you mentioned the offense, but how about the defense? You have 4 straight sweeps, so what's working for them?
I'm glad you brought that up because our defense has been really good, you know, and that's something we've been working hard on in practice. Our defense wasn't very good early on, and so we've been able to smother some teams, you know, with our block, but also be able to transition to score points once we make some plays defensively in the backcourt. You know, having the anchors of, you know, Tuzzo and Bevan back there, and then people like Emma Grome starting to dig balls, Asia dig balls, Brooklyn digging balls. I mean, it makes it frustrating to play against, and that's a theme we definitely hope to continue Friday night.
It seemed like Aaron was really coming on when she went down.
Mm-hmm.
Did it take a little while for you all, I would have to assume, to adjust to her loss?
Well, in her position, I mean, you know, when you're not playing great, that position helps bail you out of the weeds. And so when you have one player in that position bail you out and not the other, you know, so Brooklyn in 3 rotations and Aaron in the other, you just have to try and manufacture points, and so getting Asia back has helped. But Aaron just hits the ball, you know, at a pace that other people can't defend, and so we're hoping to get her back, and she's practicing now and then getting closer, and you know, so but you know, we're on doing some good things, and having the ability to terminate ball when you're not playing well in that position is super important.
How important has Emma been as far as people being in and out of the lines, and she's just that constant quarterback right there leading everybody?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Emma, you know, attackers don't have to think, okay, where's this ball going to be? She knows how to put it, you know, to them at the right time, right tempo. Her experience, you know, again, you know, Emma and Eleanor's freshman year, we got beat at South Carolina, and they're always think about that gym down there is hard to play in, and they handle that gym like pros now, you know, so that experience in her position, along with her ability to get her attackers in stride is super important.
Fred, when you look at how this season in the SEC and in college volleyball in general played out, how do you feel like that might trickle into conference tournaments, specifically in your SEC play?
Well, it's cool. I mean, next year is our first, 2025 will be our first year of a conference tournament. And so the parity that's happening across the country is amazing, first of all. I mean, hopefully you guys have seen some of the crowds we're getting at random places you don't expect big crowds at. And the ability for teams that aren't necessarily conference championship contenders are beating teams that are. So the conference tournament coming up in 2025, I think, is going to add a lot, and I'm glad we're going to be the first big conference to throw that in there.
Greg, kind of like building off that too, you mentioned how difficult this league is. You have teams just beating everybody, and how difficult it is to prepare for teams. Is that kind of like a nice, like maybe, I don't know, subtle reminder of to keep grinding, not taking days off, and just staying prepared at all times?
Absolutely. I mean, you want to build confidence by having success, and you think you layer in belief because you do things well. You can never lose your edge, though. You can never lose that edge to fight for something, because you're always trying to seek someone out, and there's someone always behind you waiting to take your place. So if we lose our edge in practice, then you lose the opportunity to be consistent on game night. And so we actually lost a little bit in practice the other day, and we had to, hey, look, we're playing well, but you cannot lose the edge to prove yourself. And so Friday night's another chance to do that. A&M's had some really good wins, and we better bring it.
Craig, is the goal to have the practices more intense than these actual games at some points?
Practice should be harder than games. I don't know if Bobby Knight's the right person to bring up. He always said if practice isn't harder than games, I'm not doing my job. But if practice and training isn't difficult and it's easy in practice, and how do you expect to perform well under pressure when the lights are on against an opponent that wants to take what you have? So, to win in practice is very difficult for a starting group, and the people that aren't starting take a lot of pride in that every single day. So it's pretty fun to watch.
That in mind,
I won't tell you what they call themselves either.
you talked to the years about, you don't hesitate to juggle your lineup, juggle rotations, depending on who's practicing the best. How much has that helped you, Craig, in this period where you did have to juggle personnel because of injuries?
Yeah, I mean, one of our philosophies in our program is prepare for your next opportunity, because you don't know if it's tomorrow or next week or the week after. And so all of our players are preparing like today is their chance. And we've certainly have had to go through that this year with different injuries and situations. We've had to flip our lineup 2 or 3 times after beating SMU, then to Purdue, then switched again for Louisville. And then I don't know if you noticed on Friday night, we put in Kennedy Washington on the right side. She's never played right side, in college at all. And the last set, we put her in, and she was ready. She prepared herself in practice. And, I just met with her yesterday, and she wants some clarity on her role. And I said, you earned the opportunity to play there. So you don't get to play unless you earn it in practice.
Craig, what do you think the biggest adjustment your team's made throughout this season is?
I think that the biggest adjustment is they have gained the respect of their teammates. I think individually each of them has gained the respect from their teammates, and they're really starting to trust and gel with each other. You can never underestimate that intangible, so to speak. Yes, we physically do great things. Yes, we pass pretty well. Yes, we kill the ball at a high rate. Yes, we do great things defensively. But there's a level of respect and trust you have to have with teams to compete for championships, and I think that's the biggest thing we're seeing right now in practice when we travel, is that there's an elite level of respect and trust between each other.
You mentioned parity more than once. Obviously, the portal's got a lot to do with that. You've had kids come in, but you've lost. People don't realize the reigning player of the year used to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Is that primarily, do you think, what's led to this parity?
I think it's part of it. I think probably the biggest thing is the number of great athletes playing our sport. When you walk into a club tournament at the Expo Center in Louisville, or the World Congress Center in Atlanta, or the Las Vegas Convention Center at Nationals, and you see 100 courts, and on every third court you see an elite Division I player, that means that every school in the country has a chance to find really good players. And so I think that, yes, transfer portal helps with parity, but a lot of times the best players go to other great programs, And so if there's not enough good players in the top 25, then 25 can't beat 7. So I think all of it adds to it, you know, NIL, transfer portal, the number of people playing this game. But it's at an all-time high, and I've said this for 5 years straight, I think. I don't think it's stopping anytime soon, so it's pretty cool to see.
Everybody good? Appreciate you coming out. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.